Andrea Rich played key roles in multiplying the impact of libertarian thought for more than 40 years. Through her roles in growing the Libertarian Party in New York and nationally, and managing or creating clearinghouses for libertarian ideas through laissez-faire books and the Center for Independent Thought, she substantially broadened the libertarian movement and helped make libertarian views mainstream.
The list of things that Andrea did to promote liberty is pretty endless. She helped build the libertarian movement in a way that few others could even come close to.
There are people all over the world whose lives have been shaped in a positive way by Andrea. I think she was globally one of the most important libertarian leaders of the last 100 years.
She was the first chair of the New York Libertarian Party in 1973 and 74, and also served as media director in the early stages of the state party's beginnings. The vice chair was Howard Rich, currently Cato's longest-serving board member, whom she soon married, celebrating a total of 41 years.
They were so compatible. He was always watching out for her, and she was always watching out for him. Just very compatible, very in sync with each other.
Howie and Andrea were a team. I mean, they were a team as long as I've known them.
They really were connected and just loved being together.
Howie and Andrea just always seemed like a perfect pair. And seem to have such a close and happy partnership. It's inspiring to the rest of us.
She went on to become vice chair of the National Libertarian Party, and in 1980 she played a key role in developing television advertising for the campaign of Ed Clark, the Libertarian presidential nominee.
Andrea and I shared a kind of bemused admiration for the libertarian movement. We were intensely in favor of liberty, both of us. And we admired our colleagues, but we also understood that the odds were astronomical against us. And you have to have a sense of humor, which she did. So we went into battle knowing we were going to lose, but we're gaining ground all the time.
From 1982 to 2005, she was president of Laissez-Faire Books, which billed itself as the world's largest collection of books on liberty.
Laissez-Faire Books was the only full-time distributor of libertarian materials. There wasn't anybody else. The core purpose was to get libertarian books in the hands of more people.
Back in the days before Amazon, Laissez-Faire Books was a lifeline for people who wouldn't have otherwise had any access to great libertarian books and new libertarian books.
Andrea understood that having a great idea is wonderful, but if you can't market it, if you can't bring it to people, if you cannot bring it to press, it doesn't matter. And she was the one who taught people how to promote themselves, how to get the book out, how to turn it from a $70 book into a $24.95 book by getting advanced pre-purchases. She was just an amazing business person, and she brought the love of liberty together with her smart business sense to advance freedom.
One way or the other, I met all the prominent libertarians during my time at New York, mostly by running into them at Laissez-Faire, getting to know them there.
But it was far better known for its monthly catalog that reached libertarians around the world.
The monthly Laissez-Faire catalog was full of essays about these books by Roy Childs, this brilliant intellectual, that were intended to make you want to read them, but also to understand how that book fit into other parts of the libertarian canon.
When it arrived, you didn't just toss it out. You looked through it and you read it.
Everything was there. Milton Friedman, Thomas Sowell, economics in one easy lesson, and I'm a TV guy, I want easy lessons.
One of the things that Laissez-Faire Books did was merge the very brightest academics with the intelligent lay public, and that was a very key element to the growth of the libertarian movement.
I was a young economics student in Canada, and I had heard of Milton Friedman in my textbooks, but the newspapers were politically left and my professors were politically left. I learned about thinkers like Rothbard and Hayek and many others in the pages of the Laissez-Faire book catalog.
Young people today don't appreciate just how lonely it was to be a libertarian back before the age of the internet. As an undergraduate at Northwestern University, it was a godsend to receive that catalog once a month because it reassured you that you weren't in fact crazy for thinking these ideas, and you were in fact part of a rich tradition. Just sharing that catalog with the other like-minded people was kind of like an act of solidarity.
Laissez-Faire Books is like one of the pillars of the libertarian movement. And that's because of Andrea. And without Andrea, it doesn't happen.
As president of the Center for Independent Thought, she launched and managed the Thomas Szasz Award for outstanding contributions to the cause of civil liberties and the Roy Childs Fund for Independent Scholars. CIT's biggest project was Stossel in the Classroom, which repackaged ABC News and Fox Business videos on economics and public policy by John Stossel for classroom use.
Andrea rescued me. She's so convinced, my ABC bosses, with her dignified approach, that they allowed it to go on. And she ran Stossel in the Classroom for, I believe, 15 years. Thanks to Andrea, about 10 million high school kids get to learn something about liberty in school every year.
Andrea was involved in all sorts of things. She was on the board of FEE, she was on the board of the Atlas Network. She traveled with us to Russia, and she and I went and visited a Russian publisher who was interested in libertarian books. She went to Africa with the Atlas Network.
And she arranged shipments of entire containers, bringing thousands and thousands of libertarian books to them. There's a whole generation of young people in formerly communist countries who got their education from Andrea Rich.
She could care less about whether people knew she was accomplishing something or behind something or supporting something or helping someone. She just wanted to see the thing done if she thought it was a good cause.
Andrea was also a personal friend to lots of people.
Didn't matter who you were, she was there to befriend you. And she did that to me.
It was always a tremendous good feeling to know that she was on your side on anything. She had a wonderful way of making you feel like you were safe if that was so.
Everyone talks about Andrea's sweetness, and she was sweet. That soft Southern accent and her laugh. But you know, there was a real crankiness to Andrea. And if truth be told, I benefited most from that crankiness.
She told you when she thought you were full of it, when she thought that you needed to be put back on course. And her course corrections helped me and helped a lot of other people.
And because of her toughness, I became a much better informed and involved libertarian.
Andrea was one of the key people who helped to sustain and grow the libertarian movement into the potent force that it has become.
We owe so much to that happy band of people from the 1970s who were executing this heavy lift of getting, libertarian ideas out there and giving them credibility. And through what she did with laissez-faire books, with the Libertarian Party, Andrea is really one of the MVPs of that effort.
The cause of liberty has lost a dear friend and a wise counsel, but her spirit remains active globally through every person she convinced of the value of liberty and through every person she inspired to stand against violence and tyranny.
With the loss of Andrea, we lose a connection to the past, and we also lose a luminary, a light for so many of us.
The cause of liberty has lost a great deal of wisdom, generosity, and vision. And it will be very hard, in fact impossible, to replace that. We have to do the best we can.